The Hey everybody, it's me, Dolores, the pastor's daughter. Good morning, and I suppose good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be listening to this broadcast. It is Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. It is my big brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Michael. Happy birthday. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me make sure you guys can hear me good. Broadcast. Okay. So, if you've been kind of paying attention, I've been talking about this book, The Hitman and the Preacher, and talking about doing a live reading of the book. And, oh, y'all, just this is what I want y'all to understand, like that. I'm a strong woman, okay? Like I'm a strong woman. But there is a little girl in me, and I have to admit that the little girl in me is a bit hurt by this book that my father wrote in response to my book, or in competition with my book, or I don't really know, what his motives were or are, but I think we should read it. I think that um regardless of how I feel, just on a daughter level, on a, the little girl in me level, which feels a bit betrayed. And, um, I guess I just kind of feel like this is just more confirmation that, of who my father is, of what he is, of, the death of expectations, of hope, of anything, of any type of relationship that is healthy or, thriving. It's like like there's just a side of me that just is like, oh, like this sucks, But then there's this other side that's just like, man, this is, we're given a rare opportunity here, to really like um, analyze kind of like this deceiver, in real time, And I think that there's a bigger purpose, and that's what gives me my drive, that's what gives me the push to keep on going, regardless of how the little girl in me feels, So I've been kind of thinking about how to do this, you know. Like, I've just been brainstorming. I even put it in Chat GPT, like, Chat GPT, how should we analyze this book, Um, and I just kind of thought about it over time, and I just want to do what feels natural, what feels comfortable, And so I figure, what feels comfortable right now is just, I'm just in my room, my glam room. I'm just sitting here, I've got my bonnet on, you know, I'm looking all kinds of rough right now. So I don't want to be on camera, I just, and I don't even want to give commentary about what we're about to read. I just want to read it. Like, let's just read it, and then let's go back and analyze and break it down and do all the things, But like, I also just want to honor the little girl in me, the daughter in me, and just say, you know what, let me just read it. And I've had this book, I guess, I don't know, I guess it's been about a week and a half now, 2 weeks maybe, I don't even know. But and I've kind of skimmed through. I just never really felt comfortable, and I kind of wanted to just read it live with you guys. I don't know, it's like there's a part of the healing journey that you do all alone, it's like you have to kind of go within. But there's also a part of the healing journey that you do with people that you love and you trust. And I also want to just honor the other daughters out there who haven't found their voice yet, who haven't reached the level of healing and understanding and the level of discernment that I've reached yet. And it's like I think it's important for us to, as daughters, to show each other um, all the different aspects, all the different pitfalls and stops along the journey of healing. And I wouldn't necessarily say pitfalls, but just, you know, all the pit stops, I guess, is more of the word. Healing is not somewhere that you just arrive at. It's a journey. I mean, like, you're just gonna be healing for the rest of your life, especially when your life has been centered around trauma and pain and abuse, you know? It's like you don't even know what's gonna come up for you, until it comes up. You don't know. You could be 50 years old, you could be 60 years old. And you never know when something that happened when you were 6 will come up, you know? And so it's a continuous journey. And as long as we realize that it's a journey and not a destination, then that just eases us up just a little bit. But it's okay. I have a few of you in here now, so let's go ahead and get started on this reading. And like I said, I'm just going to read it straight through. Okay. Like we're just going to read it. You guys can say whatever you want to in the comment section, but I just want to read it through. And if you hear something, like that sounds off or, anything like that, like just, you know, remark about it in the comment section. And then as we go back and do an analysis, then we'll just break that down even more. Okay. So let me put up this copyright disclaimer, just so that we cover ourselves because we're reading this um, for knowledge, for understanding, so that so we could be smarter about this. And so let me go ahead and put this up and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, like I said, we are doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher. And this is a book that was written by my father that was released, from what I can see, it was released about February of this year. The book that you see also on the screen is my book that I released 3 years ago, actually, in March, 3 years ago. I released The Pastor's Daughter Provoked. Since then, my father's been talking about writing a book of his own. Um, and so I could only surmise that it was in response to the allegations that I talked about in my book. Um, so I guess you could just kind of keep that in mind, but let's go ahead and read it. I'm not going to put it on the screen because there is a copyright statement here that I want to honor. And so, don't worry about looking at the screen, you guys. Just kind of do whatever you want to do right now and just kind of listen in as we do a live reading of this book. And so we're going to start on the acknowledgments page. Acknowledgments. I want to thank the, excuse me. I want to thank the person who played a crucial role in making this book happen. Big thanks to Joyce Haddon for her helpful feedback and guidance. which really improved the manuscript. I appreciate her support, encouragement, and valuable contributions. This book would not have happened without you. Dedication. To my entire Laster family, your constant support and encouragement have been my guiding lights during moments of inspiration and reflection. This book is dedicated to you with deep gratitude for believing in my journey and providing endless encouragement. Your presence in my life has inspired every word written on these pages. Personal note. I'm excited to share my latest work with you, a journey into my life and spiritual path. In these pages, you'll follow my transformation into a pastor, facing challenges and celebrating triumphs guided by unwavering faith. As you read, I hope you find inspiration in stories of growth, resilience, and the moments that shaped my journey. It's a tale of faith, purpose, and life's twists when answering the call to serve. Thank you for letting me share my story with you. May these pages bring reflection, encouragement, and a connection to our unique journeys. With gratitude, Harold R. Laster. Contents, acknowledgments, dedication, personal note. Chapter 1, Roots of Resilience. Chapter 2, School Lessons and Early Career. Chapter 3, Unveiling the Shepherd Within. Chapter 4, Journey Through Struggle and Redemption. Chapter 5, A Journey of Spiritual Awakening and Resilience. Chapter 6, A Perilous Pursuit. Chapter 7, Finding Light in the Darkness. Chapter 8, From Ashes to Refuge. Chapter 9, Navigating Betrayal, Bounty, and Boundless Determination. Chapter 10, Family, Faith, and Finding Purpose. Chapter 11, The Dawn of Hope. Okay, you guys, here is chapter 1 of The Hitman and the Preacher. Chapter 1, Roots of Resilience. As I think back on the beginning of my life, when the world just beyond our community's protective fence was rough and unfriendly, I remember those early years that shaped who I am today, carving resilience into the very fabric of my character. Imagine a time when life was hard, resources were scarce, people were distant, and the struggle for survival was a constant companion. It was a landscape that tested the very core of my resilience, challenging me to find strength in the face of adversity. Amid the challenges, our community became a safe place. In the midst of chaos, relationships turned into support systems. Friendships deepened into meaningful connections. And our surrogate family became the anchor that kept me steady in the storm. As I reflect on the beginning of my existence, a time when the world just beyond the protective embrace of our community's fence was an untamed expanse, marked by rugged terrain and the unkindness that seemed to permeate the air. These formative years, characterized by harsh realities, played a pivotal role in shaping the very essence of my being. The crucible of adversity in which I found myself what? Etched resilience into the very fabric of my character, molding me into the person I am today. Picture a bygone era when life was an arduous journey with resources stretched thin, distances seeming insurmountable, and the relentless struggle for survival serving as an ever present companion. It was a landscape that demanded fortitude, a place where the indomitable spirit within me was called upon to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. In the face of scarcity and hardship, I discovered a reservoir of strength within myself that I hadn't known existed. Yet, amid the seemingly insurmountable difficulties, our community emerged as an oasis in the midst of chaos. Within the confines of our shaped haven, relationships evolved beyond mere associations. They became lifelines, intricate threads weaving a safety net against the storms of life. Friendships deepen into profound connections, each bond a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Our surrogate family, forged through shared struggles and triumphs, became the unyielding anchor that held me steady in the tempest of existence. In the heart of the struggle, the true beauty of human connection revealed itself. It was a time when compassion flourished, empathy thrived, and the solidarity among us illuminated the darkest corners of our shared experience. Every trial we faced was an opportunity for communal growth, an invitation to draw strength from the collective resilience of our community. As I reminisce about those pivotal years, I am reminded of the individuals who stood alongside me. Their unwavering support served as a resource of inspiration, excuse me, as a source of inspiration. We were bound not only by shared circumstances, but by a collective determination to overcome the adversities that sought to define us. Each person in our community became a pillar of strength, a testament to the idea that in unity, we find the fortitude to weather life's fiercest storms. Our journey was not without its shared sacrifices. Every hardship, every setback, and every moment of despair demanded a price. Yet, in the crucible of those challenges, we discovered the transformative power of resilience. It was not a solitary endeavor. Rather, it was a communal dance of perseverance, a symphony of shared resilience echoing through the annals of our collective memory. The protective fence that once delineated the boundaries of our community became a symbol not of limitation, but of collective determination. It was a reminder that despite the harshness of the world beyond, within our enclave, within, excuse me, within our enclave, we had cultivated a haven of strength and support. The fence did not confine us, it defined the sacred space where our resilience was tested and proven. As time marched forward, the landscape beyond our community evolved, and so did we. The lessons learned in the crucible of our shared experiences continued to resonate, shaping our individual paths. The resilience etched into the very fabric of my character during those early years became a guiding force, propelling me forward, even as the challenges transformed and took on new forms. In revisiting the beginning of my life, I am confronted with a profound appreciation for the transformative power of resilience. It is a force that transcends individual struggles, weaving a common thread that binds communities together. The rugged and unkind world that once seemed daunting now stands as a testament to the resilience that resides within each of us. In the grand story of life, the early chapters, marked by scarcity and struggle, have become a foundation upon which the rest of my narrative unfolds. The relationships forged, the bonds strengthened, and the resilience cultivated within our community continue to influence my journey, reminding me that no matter the challenges that lie ahead, I carry within me the strength to endure and the capacity to thrive. As I gaze back through the lens of my mind's eye, I see not just the trials endured by the triumphs celebrated, not merely the hardships faced by the resilience that emerge from the crucible of, oh my God, y'all, crucible of adversity. It is a story of a community that transformed challenges into opportunities, a tale of individuals who, bound by a shared commitment to resilience, weathered the storms and emerged stronger on the other side. Recalling our family's poignant move from a comforting embrace of Alabama to the unfamiliar chill of Michigan stirs up memories of a significant turning point, fueled by audacious hopes for a better life. My indomitable mother, shouldering the responsibility of 8 kids while dad served gallantly in the military, gracefully led us through a transformative journey marked by sacrifice, unyielding determination, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. A central pillar of our hard earned stability was the rhythm of mom's cleaning job. With every measured sweep of the floor and every meticulously folded piece of laundry, she showcased her unwavering efforts, becoming an enduring beacon that taught me the enduring values of hard work and resilience from the tenderest of ages. In the unlikeliest of corners, I discovered unexpected role models, the enigmatic, excuse me, is that the right? Did I say that right? Yeah, the ignited y'all, the innate I can't even say the oh my God. The ig enigmatic. Ugh, y'all. That's how I know he ain't write this. Cause who uses these words? Okay, let me go back. Okay. In the unlikeliest of corners, I discovered unexpected role models, the enigmatic figures of pimps and those orchestrating after hours joints. Surprisingly, their accepting nature provided a sanctuary where I could genuinely be myself. And amidst adversity, their unexpected support played a substantial role in shaping the unique contours of my journey. In the story I unfold, a cascade of emotions ranging from the palpable fear of the unknown to the tangible hope that guided our every step weaves through the narrative. Each moment unfolds as a delicate brushstroke, contributing to the rich mosaic of my struggles and triumphs. The journey from the comforting familiarity of Alabama to the uncharted territories of Michigan meant confronting fears of the unknown, adapting to the new place, and ma- adeptly managing the ooh, the burgeoning list of responsibilities. Yet intricately woven with fear was the radiant thread of hope, a gentle light that steadfastly guided our determination to overcome the formidable challenges that lay ahead. Despair lingered, a persistent shadow threatening to engulf us as we navigated the weight of newfound responsibility, acclimated to unfamiliar surroundings, and, and confronted the relentless demands of daily life. But from the depth of adversity, determination emerged as an unwavering force, propelling us forward with resilience that defied the odds. My experiences intertwine to form a complex mosaic where each challenge met with unyielding resilience contributes to the intricate patterns of my journey. Triumphs akin to bursts of vibrant color on a canvas marks our achievements, adding depth and vibrancy to the evolving masterpiece of our lives. As time passed, our journey's emotional landscape shifted. Fear turned into a sense of belonging. Hope transformed into opportunities, and despair gave way to resilience. Adversity met with determination became a catalyst for growth. Reflecting on our family's journey, I see that the emotions in those moments shaped my character and painted the canvas of my identity. The move from Alabama to Michigan was not just a change in location, but a transformative experience that molded the person I am today. In summary, our family's transition from Alabama to Michigan wasn't just about moving places. It was a journey that sculpted my character. Motivated by dreams of a better life, my mother's determination was the driving force behind our collective resilience. Through sacrifice and successes, the emotions that colored our experiences formed a vivid tapestry, a testament to the power of resilience and the enduring spirit that defines our unique journey. Thinking back on the early parts of my life and looking at them closely helps me understand things better. Reflecting on my past, I see how fate and my choices mix together. The community, once just around me, becomes a crucial place where my character gets stronger. It acts like a shield, keeping out the tough stuff from the outside world, a safe space where my identity to bounce back grows. In my life's intricate design, being tough isn't just a thing. It's a mix of experiences, relationships, and having inner strength. It's about finding strength in places I didn't expect, building up toughness through tough times with others, and facing the hard parts of growing up with grit and honesty. As the story starts, it's not just a look back, it's the beginning of a journey where my strength, planted in tough times, grows deep inside me. But this chapter isn't just remembering what happened, it's saying loud and clear that my ability to bounce back will be with me in the future, a sign of the unbeatable spirit shaped by my early years. In this ongoing story, thinking about the past isn't only about what already happened, but it's a way to understand things now and in the days to come. The community, now seen as a place that helps me become strong, keeps playing a big part in making me who I am. As the story of being tough goes on, it shows how different things, lessons from unexpected teachers, the friendships formed in hard times, and being true to myself in tough situations all fit together. Every part of this complex picture adds to the story, showing a toughness that changes, learns, and keeps getting stronger. This journey isn't just about going in one direction. It's like going in circles, exploring what being tough means. The start where, the start where I declare my toughness echoes through the later stories, like the strong beat in the pages of my life. Let me read that again. The start, where I declare my toughness, echoes through the later stories, like a strong beat in the pages of my life. The tough times from my past stay with me, shaping and making my spirit stronger as I keep growing through life's unknown paths. Woo! Y'all, that was chapter one. Jesus. Are y'all with me? Y'all, we made it through. Hold on, let me take a coffee sip break. Oh, Jesus. Y'all, so okay, what y'all think? What y'all think of what y'all think of chapter one, Jesus? Woo. What do y'all think of chapter one? We made it through. We made it through. My God, today. Mm, we made it through chapter one, y'all. Look at how we got we got 10 more to go. We got 10 more to go, y'all. Y'all hanging in there? Child. I'm barely hanging in there. Initial impressions. He definitely didn't write this. I definitely don't think he read it. There's a lot of resilience. The word resilience, y'all. When we go back through, we're gonna count how many times the word resilience was used. Because my God, today, okay, my God, today. Okay, let's continue. This is the uh-oh. I just lost my page. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Okay, y'all, we are reading The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 2, School Lessons and Early Career. As I navigate through my early years, I discovered that true strength arises from heeding the wisdom passed down through generations. It's not merely about blindly adhering to rules. Rather, it involves recognizing the valuable insights awaiting those who listen. This realization ignited my curiosity and eagerness for knowledge. In my teenage years, I often dreamt about becoming a policeman or a firefighter, inspired by exciting stories from older folks. Those tales filled me with a sense of adventure. However, life had different plans for me, leading me to explore new possibilities beyond the usual path. This brought a mix of uncertainty and curiosity, more independent. Hold on, y'all, that didn't sound right. This brought a mix of uncertainty and curiosity, more independent, although it also brought a mix of excitement and nervousness. Each job taught me about sticking to commitments, staying organized, and working hard. Overall, these experiences helped me become more self sufficient and gave me a sense of accomplishment. In my formative years, Mr. Cooley became a significant mentor. He employed a blend of tough love to shape my character and instruct me on overcoming challenges. I admired him, experiencing a mix of respect and a touch of appreciation. Beyond standard lessons, he demonstrated how to navigate life's obstacles, offering solace during difficult moments and guiding me through uncertainties. Every experience, each shift guided by a divine calling, played a part in crafting the intricate design of my life, a journey defined by growth, strength, and purpose. This has left me with a deep sense of fulfillment and excitement for the adventures that lie ahead. I was really intimidated by him. He was an older man, probably in his 60s, and came to school every day with his wife driving him. He seemed serious and rarely smiled, making me feel nervous around him. His focus on excellence within our mostly Black community deeply connected with me, fostering a sense of responsibility and determination. He emphasized the importance of being sharp, on point, and well educated, igniting both a drive to succeed and a fear of not meeting his expectations. Even though he had a strict way of doing things, he made it clear that his aim was to help us become better people. Occasionally, he showed genuine care and concern, softening his strict approach. He admitted he would expect a lot from us, but he genuinely cared about our success, making me feel both respectful and a bit nervous. He said being strict was needed to bring us up in the required standard so we could do well in tests and be competitive. This left me feeling a strong sense of urgency and determination to meet his expectations. Mr. Cooley made a memorable entrance, arriving in an older limousine driven by his wife, which added to his sense of authority and grabbed our attention. As he got out, he quickly explained his teaching style, exuding confidence that both daunted and motivated me. His pledge to go through every test in class was both comforting and challenging, backed by a promise to teach us the material thoroughly. Yet, with this assurance came a serious warning. Not meeting his expectations would result in quick and unwavering discipline. This made me determined to meet the challenges he set. Under his rules, boys and girls risk getting physically punished for any mistakes, like failing a test or not doing homework. This made the classroom feel tense and anxious. He used a big paddle for discipline, not showing favoritism based on gender. This created a strong fear of punishment that hung over us like a dark cloud. This kind of tough love had big impact, like the scared straight method used in youth justice or to discourage criminal behavior. It left us feeling torn between being upset and reluctantly recognizing its effectiveness. Even though Mr. Cooley's discipline initially made us angry and embarrassed, it was clear that he treated everyone fairly and had a noticeable effect on how well we did in school. This made us face our mistakes and work harder to avoid punishment. While his methods may have caused some controversy and discomfort, the clear improvements in grades and overall performance spoke loudly about his effectiveness about excuse me. Let me start over. While his while his methods may have caused some controversy and discomfort, the clear improvements in grades and overall performance spoke loudly about how effective his approach was. This left us with a reluctant respect for the man who pushed us to be our best selves, even if it meant confronting our fears. Thinking back on those formative years, I juggled various responsibilities, handling finances from a young age to support myself, and even buy gifts for my grandmother. This early journey into responsible adulthood was shaped by Mr. Cooley's influence and the lessons learned in his classroom, putting me on a path toward success and independence from a surprisingly young age. My encounters with Mr. Cooley paved the way for me to introduce another significant person to my life, Deacon Modoc, my brother in law. Despite a noticeable age difference of 15 years between him and my sister, Deacon Modoc seamlessly became a wise elder in our family. His impact on my life was profound, particularly after my time under Mr. Cooley's guidance. I ended up staying with Deacon Modoc due to my troublesome behavior, which had become a cause for concern for my mother. Engaging in late night activities and other inappropriate behaviors made my family believe that his disciplined approach could positively influence my conduct. Indeed, it did. Despite being strict, Deacon Modoc's guidance played a crucial role in shaping my character, instilling a valuable lesson about the responsibility and manhood in me. His influence extended beyond mere discipline. Deacon Modoc actively facilitated my personal development, helping me secure employment and manage various aspects of my life. Under his roof, academic excellence was non negotiable. I was expected to maintain a minimum grade of a C. Living with my loving sister further enriched my experience, as she provided unwavering support and guidance, stepping into the role of a mentor. One incident vivid One incident vividly illustrates Deacon Modoc's unwavering character during a journey from Detroit to California in his mobile home. Encountering a group of Hell's Angels motorcycle club members whose disruptive behavior had escalated tensions, Deacon Modoc fearlessly took charge of the situation. Despite the potentially intimidating circumstances, he remained steadfast and resolute, navigating the mobile home through the chaos with unwavering determination. Even in the face of advice from my sister to consider the potential risks, Deacon Modoc remained undeterred. The timely intervention of law enforcement ultimately diffused the situation, preventing any escalation of hostilities from the motorcycle club. In that intense moment when tension gripped the air, Deacon Modoc's bravery made a lasting impression on me. His unwavering courage inspired a sense of fearlessness, shaping who I am. As I grew up and eventually joined the military, I found that same strength within myself, thanks to Deacon Modoc's example. Even now, I carry this fearlessness with me. I'm not afraid to face a crowd or confront someone who means harm. This enduring quality comes from a strong spirit I saw in Deacon Modoc and made my own. Something inside me now refuses to give in to fear, authority, or intimidation. Thanks to my brother-in-law's influence, I can face any situation with confidence and determination. His bravery taught me how to tackle life's challenges head on. His resilience was evident in every situation. He didn't hesitate to confront the culprits when our home was broken into during a church trip. His words, backed by his readiness to protect us, showed me how to stand up against adversity. This resilience was especially evident when our family faced threats from dangerous individuals. Drawing on the strength and courage I learned from Deacon Modoc, I stood firm in the face of danger. Even though he's no longer with us, his lessons and bravery continue to guide me. Ooh, yeah. We made it through chapter 2. We made it through chapter 2. Y'all hanging in there? Y'all all right? All right, let's continue. Let's continue. This is The Hitman and the Preacher, chapter 3, Unveiling the Shepherd Within. The air buzzed with tension as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows on our Detroit street. I will never forget that day, the soldiers striding down the road in their intimidating uniforms, rifles at the ready position. They were shouting a name, their voices echoing off the worn buildings. Everyone knew why they were there. It was all because of a love deemed taboo by society, a young man involved with a white girl. The soldiers were there to punish him for daring to cross racial lines. Their mission was clear as day. Their presence was, excuse me, their presence sent shivers down our spines, and fear gripped the neighborhood. It was a sight that left me feeling a mix of anger, sadness, and fear for my community's safety. Faced with such a threat, I felt compelled to protect myself and those I cared about. So I took matters into my own hands and crafted a zip gun, a makeshift weapon made from wood and a car antenna. With each carve and assembly, I silently promised to defend my loved ones against the chaos outside. Holding the finished product, I knew I was ready to stand up against a storm of hatred and oppression. Love and defiance would be our strongest allies. At just 9 years old, I found myself holding a gun, a stark symbol of the danger lurking in our Detroit neighborhood, brought on by the presence of Klansmen. It's hard to forget that feeling, the mix of fear and responsibility that weighed heavy on my young shoulders. The thought of a kid like me having to protect his family felt like something out of a movie. But this was real life, and there was no script to follow. I was just a kid trying to make sense of a world that seemed determined to tear us apart from the moment we entered it. I remember the day those Klansmen marched down our street like something out of a nightmare. There must have been about 30 of them dressed up like soldiers with rifles slung over their shoulders. Their voices rang out, calling for someone by name, a man they wanted to hurt just because of who he loved. It was terrifying watching them from the window as they stomped down the street, filling the air with their hate and anger. My mom pulled me away, her voice urgent and scared, telling me to stay out of sight. But even inside, I could feel the tension thick in the air, like a storm about to break. It was a moment that stayed with me, a reminder of the dangers we faced just for being who we were. And yet, even in the face of that fear, there was a stubborn kind of hope, a belief that somehow, some way, we would make it through. One day, as the sun was beginning to descend, casting a warm golden glow that danced through the aisles of the grocery store where I toiled away my days. I had finally finished my shift, was weary but determined, and stepped out into the cool evening air. I felt relief. Another day I survived in a world that often felt like it was stacked against me. But my moment of respite was short lived. Just as I reached for the threshold of the store, four looming figures materialized before me, police officers, their presence casting a shadow over the tranquility of the evening. They were known as the Big Four, a name that carried weight in the hearts and minds of all who called Michigan home. As they approached, the air crackled with tension, their expressions stern and unyielding. It was a scene that played out all too often in the streets of our city, a reminder of the ever present threat of authority, poised to assert its power over those deemed unworthy in the eyes of society. But there was something about these particular officers that sent a chill through my spine, a chill down my spine and set my heart racing. They were not just any police officers, they were the embodiment of fear and intimidation. Their very presence was a harbinger of trouble. What is a harbinger? I gotta look that up. Their very presence, a harbinger of trouble. And trouble, it seemed, was exactly what they had in mind. With a sense of purpose that left no room for doubt, they descended upon me, their hands reaching for the tools of their trade, cuffs, batons, and implements of oppression. But even as they moved to detain me, I refused to cower in the face of their authority, for I knew that I was not alone, that there were others who had come before me, who had stared down the barrel of injustice and refused to back down. And so, as the big four closed in around me, I stood my ground, my heart pounding in my chest, and a silent prayer on my lips. For in that moment, I knew that I was not just fighting for myself, but for all those who had been silenced by the heavy hand of oppression. Without warning, they descended upon me, their blows raining down with a ferocity that left me reeling. The harsh glare of their flashlights illuminated the alley, casting twisted shadows against the brick walls as I dropped to my knees, the pain blossoming like a wildfire in my chest. When I stood up, the policemen began beating me using long flashlights. They struck me with the back of the flashlight 20 times. Something inside of me felt like God's hands took away all the pain. Despite appearing to cry, I felt no pain due to the hand of God. It was a scene that played out all too often in the streets of our city, a reminder of the ever present threat of authority poised to assert its power over those deemed unworthy in the eyes of society. Wait a minute, did I go back? No, he repeated that. Okay, I'm going to read it again. It was a scene that played out all too often in the streets of our city, a reminder of the ever present threat of authority, poised to assert its power over those deemed unworthy in the eyes of society. And yet, even in the midst of my suffering, my mind wandered back to another moment, a memory etched into the fabric of my being. I was just a boy of 14, fresh out of junior high, when a man approached me with a knife, his intentions clear as day. But then, like a guardian angel, my brother appeared. He had returned from Vietnam, his uniform a symbol of courage and strength in the face of adversity. He disarmed the man with a single swift motion, sending him fleeing into the night. At that moment, as I looked into my brother's eyes, gratitude and relief washing over me like a wave, I knew that I was not alone. For no matter how dark the night may seem, there was always a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light to guide me through the darkness. The devil's relentless pursuit to snuff out my life has been a recurring theme, a haunting melody that has echoed through the years of chilling persistence. He was wielding every tool at his disposal, manipulating those around me in a twisted game of chess where my very existence hangs in the balance. Let me read that one more time. He was wielding every tool at his disposal, manipulating those around me in a twisted game of chess where my very existence hangs in the balance. It wasn't until much later in life that I began to unravel the enigma of my existence, to understand the role I was destined to play in this cosmic battle between good and evil. From the tender age of 5, when I first set foot in the halls of education. Let me start over. From the tender age of 5, when I first set foot in the hallowed halls of education, I found myself thrust into a role I had not yet grasped, the role of a shepherd, a protector of the weak and vulnerable. At the heart of being a pastor is a deeper purpose. It's a calling, a divine invitation from God Himself. It's not just about picking a job, it's about embracing a higher mission, a sacred responsibility to serve others and share His message. Similar to any profession, being a pastor requires the right attitude, and a mix of kindness, understanding, and unwavering belief. It's not for the faint hearted, it's for those who feel compelled to guide and uplift others through life challenges. Through life's challenges. For many starting out in ministry, the journey begins with God's guidance, a mentorship under the divine, whose presence lights the way. I remember my first role working alongside the all knowing shepherd, whose wisdom and kindness made a lasting impression on me. Under his guidance, I learned that being a pastor goes beyond words and rituals. It's about being a beacon of hope in a world full of uncertainty, a source of comfort for those in need. My mentor taught me that being a pastor is a sacred promise, a commitment to walk alongside others through their joys and sorrows. Through his example, I understood that this calling isn't just a job, it's a divine calling given by God Himself. I became a pastor before I knew what it meant to pastor, and my innate sense of compassion guided me as I cared for those who could not care for themselves. Whether it was ensuring that hungry children had enough to eat at school or finding ways to provide for the less fortunate, I was always there, a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness. As I grew older, I began to see the cracks in my facade, the flaws that lurked beneath the surface of my seemingly noble intentions. I was not a good pastor, not in the truest sense of the word. For a while, I may have provided for the physical needs of those around me. However, I neglected the deeper, more spiritual aspects of my calling. It was a harsh realization that cut me to the core and left me questioning everything I thought I knew about myself. How could I claim to be a shepherd of souls when I couldn't even find solace in my own heart? How could I lead others to salvation when I was lost in the wilderness of my doubt and fear? But even in the midst of my despair, I clung to a glimmer of hope, a belief that redemption was possible, that I could rise above my shortcomings and become the pastor I was always meant to be. So, with renewed determination and a humble heart, I set out on a journey of self discovery, seeking forgiveness for my past transgressions and striving to become the man I was destined to be. The devil tried to kill me time and time, again and again, year after year, but he could never extinguish the flame of hope that burned within me. As I continued on this journey, I know that with faith as my guide, I will emerge from the shadows stronger, wiser, and more resolute than ever before. All right. Woo, we made it through chapter 3. We made it through chapter 3, y'all. Okay, we made it through chapter 3. Y'all hanging in there? Y'all all right? So, what are y'all thinking so far? What are your thoughts? This is the Hitman and the Preacher. We have read through chapter 3. So, what are your thoughts so far? Like, what's your discernment telling you? I don't have it like for me. I don't have any. I don't have any. Uh, you know, I'm just reserving any judgments right now. I'm just reserving it all, and I'm just taking in the contents. You know what I mean? Just kind of just reading it. So I'm kind of reserving any judgments for now. Um, but if y'all could give me a thumbs up, like the video, share, subscribe, and we will continue. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. We are going to start the review of this book. Sorry about that, y'all. I just want to make sure that y'all can still hear me good before I continue forward. Can y'all just let me know in the chat? Just like, just say you good and give me some type of signal, y'all. Okay. All right. I just checked. All right, y'all. Give me a thumbs up and let me know y'all good in the chat. We are going to continue to chapter 4. Okay, y'all. This is The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 4. Journey through struggle and redemption. At 17, my journey into adulthood took an unconventional turn as I enlisted in the military. Little did I know then that this decision would sculpt my character and define my path forward. The military was not just about combat and discipline, it was a transformative experience that instilled in me the values I carry today. Amidst the rigorous training routines, one aspect stood out: marksmanship. The firing range became my classroom, and the instructors my mentors. I vividly recall the sense of achievement as I honed my skills, becoming the second best shooter in my regiment. It wasn't just about hitting targets, it was about discipline, precision, and the responsibility that came from wielding such power. Hand to hand combat training further solidified my capabilities. Excuse me, let me start over. Hand to hand combat training further solidified my capabilities, turning me into a well rounded soldier. Yet, beyond the physical aspect, the military instilled in me a deeper understanding of leadership. As a squad leader, I guided my comrades through challenges, fostered camaraderie, and led by example. However, one particular experience left a lasting impression amidst the drills and camaraderie. It was the story of a young recruit hailing from a vastly different background than most of us. His journey mirrored the diversity of our nation, reflecting the rich tapestry of experiences within the military. As I reflect on those formative years, I realized that the military was not just about learning how to fight, it was about learning how to lead, adapt, and embrace diversity. These principles, ingrained in me during my time in service, continue to shape my approach to life, guiding me through its myriad of challenges and triumphs. They beckon me relentlessly, calling out my name time and again. This relentless summoning was labeled a blanket party, a term born from its persistent refusal to maintain personal hygiene or cleanliness, inevitably leading us to fail inspections. In an act of collective frustration, some individuals took matters into their own hands. They swiftly covered him with a blanket, concealing his identity, and then proceeded to deliver blows, wielding makeshift weapons fashioned with socks filled with soap. This, in the military, was what they termed a blanket party. Though I was not present during this incident, the story swiftly circulated through the ranks, whispered among those who bore witness. As a squad leader, I returned to find myself facing the consequences. Military police awaited me, locking me up without explanation. Confounded, I questioned their actions, vehemently asserting my innocence. How could I be held accountable for an event I had no part in? These fellow soldiers of my background were meant to be allies, yet their actions resulted in unjust repercussions for me. The military punished me with a 30-day confinement without pay, despite my protests of innocence. The black folks promised, saying they would visit me and be there for me, claiming we were friends, like brothers. However, One big lesson I learned then and still carry with me today is that those same folks never showed up. Even during my 30 days in jail, they did not visit me or write a single letter. They just moved on, leaving me behind bars. I stayed quiet, even when I could have snitched on them to get out. The captain in charge of us came by, though. He suggested I spill the beans on those guys to get out. But I stuck to my story, telling him I was not involved. He explained that I could not let them off easy as a squad leader. I reminded him I was not even there. After 30 days, when he saw I wouldn't rat them out, he came back and told me they were dropping all charges. Knowing my loyalty paid off, even if it meant spending time in jail, was a relief. They told me they were giving me back pay for the month and that I could go. But they also made sure to impart a crucial life lesson. They said, "You can't trust people just because they are black like you. Friendship runs deeper than skin color." The captain asked if those folks ever visited or wrote me. I shook my head. "No," I replied. He pointed out that these, excuse me, he pointed out that these were the same people I was protecting. I argued back, saying I was not covering for them. I just couldn't bring myself to be part of something I was not involved in. That lesson stuck with me even now. I've come to understand that not everyone who comes your way is a true friend. You cannot be friends with bad or racist people. It was a lesson learned in the military that I still carry with me. When I returned home, I crossed paths with a young man named Charles. He thought highly of me and thought his sister might too. He suggested I meet her. So we headed to his house. Upstairs, his sister awaited, and we and when she descended, I was struck by her beauty, like none other I'd seen before. We exchanged words, and she kindly offered me a ham sandwich from the kitchen. We sat together on the couch, munching away. In the first 15 minutes of meeting her, I couldn't help but to blurt out, "I'm going to marry you." She laughed, thinking I was a joke. Excuse me. She laughed, thinking I was joking. But to me, she was everything I'd ever dreamed of. Despite my earnestness, she brushed it off as playful banter. However, fate had other plans. Within a few months, while on leave, I found myself in a car accident on the freeway. Another driver rear ended my car, leaving me injured. After the accident, I was in bad shape. She thought I was joking about marrying her, but I meant every word. Within 2 or 3 months, while I was home on leave, the accident occurred. I was on the freeway when a guy rear ended my car, leaving me seriously injured. I was passing out, dizzy whenever I stood up, yet unaware of the extent of my injuries. Despite my condition, I was determined to marry the woman who is now my wife. But no one sympathized because I was deemed too young for marriage. I had been 21. So reluctantly, I had to return to the military, back to Germany. From afar, I continued to write her, sending pictures and promising that when I returned, we'd marry. When I returned to the United States, I reunited with my wife. We didn't rush into marriage. Instead, we spent a year or so together before tying the knot. Until then, I'd never experienced love like this. And even now, she remains the only one I've ever loved. After marrying my wife, I found myself falling in with a troublesome crowd. These were people from my childhood, friends from the old neighborhood. I had known them since I was 8 or 9 years old, but things had changed. They were involved in drugs, though I wasn't initially. Yet, as I spent more time with them, I found myself getting involved in drugs too. Before long, I was caught in a downward spiral, dragged into a world I never thought I'd find myself in. After getting hooked on drugs, I found myself walking 15 miles in the dead of night just to feed my addiction. I traversed through dimly lit alleyways, knowing exactly when the police shifts changed and when they were patrolling. With every step, I scoured for everything I could steal. Excuse me. With every step, I scoured for anything I could steal and share. Oh God, I'm sorry, you guys. It's getting a little tongue tied here. With every step, I scoured for anything I could steal and sell to get my fix. It was a descent into darkness where I navigated the night with an animalistic instinct, unseen by those around me who wondered obliviously. I became adept at moving silently, a skill I honed from my military training. I moved with such stealth that even the dogs remained silent as I passed by. In those moments, I embodied a different kind of existence, where silence and stealth were my allies in pursuing my next high. I never realized the significance of moving in silence until it saved my life one fateful day. The lessons I learned during my darkest times battling addiction ended up becoming the lifeline for my family. It was a revelation that I had not anticipated, that God would utilize the darkest shadows of my existence to bring light and salvation to my loved ones, keeping us alive against all odds. For about a year, I traversed those 15 miles, navigating the labyrinth alleyways in pursuit of my next fix. Little did I know that my routine journey home in the dead of night would coincide with a pivotal moment in my life. As I made my way home one early morning, the rain poured down relentlessly, each raindrop feeling like a heavy weight upon my weary shoulders. I was soaked to the bone. The water seeped through my clothes down to my very skin. Yet it was as if the rain itself carried a message, washing away the haze of addiction and clouded my judgment. With every step closer to home, I felt the weight of the rain, not just on my body, but on my soul. Looking up to the heavens, raindrops pelted my face, almost as if nature was urging me to speak up and reach out to the divine. At that moment, with raindrops stinging my eyes, I found myself engaging in a conversation with God, speaking aloud into the darkness. I pleaded with him, recalling how he had intervened in my mother's life, pulling her out of the grips of alcoholism. I raised my voice to the heavens, the rain mixed with my tears as I cried out to God. Look at me, God, I implored, my words echoing into the night. See what I have become, wandering these streets in the darkness. Each step through the rain soaked alleys felt heavier than the last, burdened by the weight of my drenched clothes and the heaviness of my soul. The darkness around me mirrored the turmoil within, a stark contrast to the flickering streetlight that struggled to penetrate the shadows. Yet, even amid the downpour, I felt a glimmer of hope stirring within me. It was as if the rain, relentlessly in its descent, carried with it a message of renewal and redemption. With each raindrop that kissed my skin, I felt a cleansing power washing over me, washing away the stains of my past mistakes. Ooh. All right, y'all. We made it through chapter. We made it through chapter 4. Ooh. Y'all all right? Y'all all right? I'm all right. I'm all right, y'all. Ooh, okay, let me take a sip and then we're gonna continue. Mm-mm-mm. All right, y'all. This is The Hitman and the Preacher, chapter 5, A Journey of Spiritual Awakening and Resilience. Living in the darkness of night, I felt caught up in the plea for help. Let me start over. Living in the darkness of night, I felt caught up in a plea for help, like when my mom was miraculously saved. As I prayed hard, begging for God to step in, my cries became louder and more desperate. It felt like I was being driven by some unseen force, my words shifting into a language I could not understand. Yet, there was an unmistakable power behind them. Even though I wanted to stop speaking that strange language, I could not. Every time I tried to head home, it's like I was struck in a, excuse me, it's like I was stuck in a confusing maze of words. The door hidden in the darkness. The door hidden in the dark feels like a scary obstacle. Feeling sad and panicky, I knock on the door, the sound echoing in the quiet night. My wife's worried voice broke through my strange speech, asking who was there. But I could not answer in words she'd understood, only later realizing it was some kind of special language that had taken over me. It was a moment of divine intervention, as if tongues of fire from God descended upon me. Despite my attempts to explain to my wife that it was still me, her husband, she could not comprehend my words. Instead, she found herself swept up in the same mystical language that had enveloped me. As she embraced me at the door, the transformative power of God surged through my being. I felt it deep within, as if a blazing inferno raged between my skin and my bones. The intensity was overwhelming, a searing heat that coursed through the crown of my head down to the very soles of my feet. It was a sensation both glorious and consuming, leaving me ablaze with a fervor of divine presence. My wife, sensing the magnitude of the moment, reached for the phone. With a sense of urgency and reverence, she conveyed to my mother the miraculous occurrence unfolding before her eyes. Explaining that I was speaking in tongues of fire, she ignited a chain reaction of spiritual connection. Across the city of Michigan, the flames of the sacred language spread, engulfing hearts and minds in a transcendent communion. From household to household, the divine tongues echoed, uniting souls in a symphony of faith and devotion. It was a testament to the boundless power of God's love, igniting a wildfire of spiritual awakening throughout the land. As the news of my salvation spread like wildfire through the community, a chorus of rejoicing voices echoed in its wake. Friends, family, and neighbors reached out to one another, sharing the miraculous turn of events that had transpired in my life. Before the morning sun had fully risen, however, The adversary himself sought to test my newfound resolve. Let me read that one more time. Before the morning sun had risen, however, the adversary himself sought to test my newfound resolve. A call from the drug dealer I had distanced myself from served as a stark reminder of the darkness that still lingered on the fringes of my past. Accusing me of a crime I had not committed, he threatened my very existence with chilling certainty. But in that moment of confrontation, I stood firm, fortified by the newfound faith that burned within me. I did not trespass, excuse me, I did not trespass into your domain, I asserted with unwavering conviction. I stand within the sanctity of my home, sheltered by and with a courage born of faith. I challenged him to confront me directly, relinquishing all weapons of defense. If you seek my demise, I declared boldly, then come and face me without deceit or subterfuge. I shall await you on my porch, unguarded and unafraid. Turning to my brother in law for assistance, I swiftly disarmed myself, relinquishing any semblance of retaliation or aggression. As I awaited the confrontation, a sense of peace washed over me, for I knew that in the face of darkness, the light of divine protection shone brightest. After sending my wife away for safety, I remained perched on the porch, a lone sentinel amidst the quiet hum of suburban life. Hours stretched into eternity as I awaited the confrontation that never materialized. The drug dealer, once a looming specter of menace, faded into the shadows of memory, never to darken my doorstep again. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the stars emerged in the velvet sky. I found solace in the stillness, a tangible reassurance of divine protection. From that pivotal moment, my life took on a new trajectory, guided by and guided by the guiding light of faith. With a renewed sense of purpose, I made my way to Pentecostal Temple, where the doors of salvation had opened wide to welcome the lost and weary. It was there, within the hallowed halls of the church, that I found redemption and was welcomed into the fold of believers. In the years that followed, I embarked on a journey of spiritual growth and enlightenment, attending ministerial classes offered by the church. These classes, meticulously designed to equip aspiring ministers with the knowledge and skills needed for their sacred calling, became the cornerstone of my transformation. Under the guidance of seasoned mentors and fellow seekers of truth, I delved into the scriptures, honed my oratorical skills, and cultivated a deep understanding of the tenets of faith. As my fellow ministers underwent rigorous testing and examination to validate their calling, I, too, prepared diligently and eager to demonstrate my unwavering commitment to serving the Lord. When the time came to stand before the board and profess my faith, I did so with humility and conviction, knowing that I had been called to a higher purpose. The ministerial training at our church was a transformative experience that spanned several months, equipping us with the knowledge and skills necessary to serve as ambassadors of faith. Under the guidance of esteemed teachers like Minister Graham and Pastor Laster, the classes delved deep into scripture, theology, and pastoral care. As aspiring ministers, we dedicated ourselves to the rigorous curriculum, attending lectures, participating in discussions, and immersing ourselves in prayer and worship. The training was not just about academic knowledge. It was about nurturing a profound spiritual connection and developing the character traits essential for effective ministry. Throughout the training, we were reminded of the importance of obtaining our ministerial license, a validation of our calling, and a formal recognition of our readiness to serve. This license represented more than just a piece of paper. It symbolized our commitment to upholding the values and principles of our faith community. For me, the impact of this training extended far beyond the classroom. It was a journey of personal growth and spiritual awakening. It strengthened my relationship with God, deepened my understanding of Scripture, and instilled within me a sense of purpose and mission. Armed with the knowledge and authority conferred by my ministerial license, I embarked on a new chapter of life, ready to minister to the spiritual needs of others and spread the message of hope and redemption. It was a calling I embraced wholeheartedly, knowing that through faith and dedication, I could make a meaningful difference in the lives of those around me. In reflecting on my ministerial training, the names of the teachers and pastors who guided me stand out vividly. Note that I finished my training correspondence with Bishop Lee H. Evans. Equally, equally influential was Pastor Laster, my older brother, whose leadership and mentorship shaped my spiritual journey in profound ways. His dynamic preaching stirred my soul, challenging me to delve deeper into scripture and confront the truths it held. One sermon in particular resonated deeply with me, the message of resilience in the face of adversity. It was during these moments of reflection that I realized the true significance of my calling. While obtaining a ministerial license may seem trivial to some, for me, it symbolized a commitment to stand firm in the face of adversity and reclaim the gospel message without fear or hesitation. And proclaim the gospel message without fear or hesitation. However, amidst the academic rigors of training, it was the trials and tribulations of life that truly tested my faith and resolve. Faith and resolve. The attempts on my life by the forces of darkness and relentless pursuit of evil seeking to extinguish the light within me. These were the moments that defined my ministry. In a world where violence and chaos threaten the sanctity of our sacred spaces, we must confront the harsh realities of spiritual warfare. I hope that through my experiences recounted in these pages, readers will gain a deeper understanding of the spiritual battles that rage unseen and find solace in the knowledge that even in the darkest of times, the light of faith can prevail. The devil, always lurking in the shadows, seeks to sow chaos and discord in my life, manifesting through the challenges I face with my children and my wife. Hold on, let me read that again, Joe. The devil, always lurking in the shadows, seeks to sow chaos and discord in my life, manifesting through the challenges I face with my children and my wife. Amidst this turmoil, the significance of a minister's license pales in comparison. From the earliest days of my existence, I was unwittingly fulfilling the role of a pastor, shepherding others with a divine calling that transcended earthly credentials. There were no official license or certificates. I was simply born into this sacred duty. The formalities of training and licensure held little sway over my journey. It was the profound encounter with Bishop Evans following a life altering incident overseas that bestowed upon me the recognition of my calling. Yet, even before the ink dried on my license, tragedy struck with the shooting of my wife, shaking me from my spiritual bearings. Since that pivotal moment, the forces of darkness have relentlessly pursued me, seeking to snuff out the light of my newfound faith. Yet, despite the ever present threat, I have forged ahead, driven by an unwavering determination to defy the enemy's schemes. In the wake of my salvation, my life underwent a radical transformation. With divine guidance, I established two successful companies, Sure Shot Pest Control and Star Tire. Propelled by a newfound clarity and purpose of clarity and excuse me, propelled by a newfound clarity of purpose and direction. These ventures flourished, expanding beyond my wildest dreams, a testament to the abundance that flowed from my newfound connection with the divine. My mind, once clouded by doubt and uncertainty, now brims with the confidence and vision of a true entrepreneur. The enemy, recognizing the threat posed by my burgeoning success, has launched relentless attacks aimed at undermining my prosperity. Yet, despite the adversities that beset me, I remain steadfast in my faith, knowing that the same power that transformed my life continues to guide and protect me. Even my wife, once on the even my wife, once on the verge of leaving, now stands by my side, a testament to the miraculous changes wrought by the hand of God. Ooh, okay, yeah. We just finished chapter 5. We just finished chapter 5. Y'all all right? Y'all hanging in there? Ooh, child. Mm. Let me take let me take a sip, y'all. Let me moisten my vocal cords so we can continue. Excuse me, so we can continue. Mm, my goodness. Y'all all right? Y'all hanging in there, child. I'm hanging in there. Ooh. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's continue. Let's continue. All right, you guys. We are doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 6, A Perilous Pursuit. As time flowed like a river, swift yet transformative, a new chapter unfolded in the narrative of my life. In the span of mere months, what felt like a year's worth of progress blossomed before my eyes. Since the moment of salvation, a remarkable evolution has taken root within me. With determination as my compass, I ventured into the realm of property ownership. Each acquisition a testament to my unwavering resolve. Cash transactions became the norm as I navigated the landscape of investment with newfound confidence. Amidst this whirlwind of growth, the trappings of success began to manifest in tangible ways. Behind the wheel of brand new cars, I embarked on journeys that symbolize not just mobility, but the fruits of relentless labor and dedication. As the doors of our church swung open to welcome seekers of solace and faith, they were met not only with the warmth of fellowship, but with tangible evidence of prosperity. The sight of a pristine vehicle parked within our sanctuary served as a beacon of hope, a tangible reminder that dreams were not merely spoken, but brought to fruition within these walls. In my new life, the ladies of the church became like family to me. They taught me so much, and I wanted to show appreciation whenever, excuse me, whenever I could. I would slip a little money into their purses, which they left open for me on purpose. Their smiles and homemade cakes were a constant source of joy. These older ladies, some in their 50s and 60s, treated me like royalty. They were always there for me, showering me with love and attention. It was heartwarming and beautiful. As my wife and I delved deeper into our roles in ministry, we attended classes for years, and it paid off. I was recognized as the top soul winner of the year, bringing more people into the church than anyone else. They even gave me a trophy, proudly displayed at the mother church. One day, after collecting rent, my wife and I found ourselves on 8th Mile, browsing furniture stores. As my wife and I browsed through furniture, our cozy mobile home park nearby, a van pulled up behind us, casting an ominous shadow over our day. Through the rearview mirror, I watched as a I watched as rough-looking men, some black, some white, stepped out, armed with rifles. Fear gripped me as I pulled my wife away, but before we could escape, they closed in. Suddenly, shots rang out, shattering the peaceful scene. I watched in horror. I watched in horror as bullets tore through our vehicle, hitting my wife and narrowly missing me. Her screams pierced the chaos as we sped away, the sound of gunfire echoing in our ears. In the aftermath, as we caught our breath, I could not shake the image of my wife's pain and the bullet lodged in the headrest where I had been sitting. It was a moment of sheer terror that left us shaken to our core, grateful to be alive, but forever changed by the violence that had erupted so unexpectedly. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I instinctively shielded my wife's trembling from, excuse me, let me start over. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I instinctively shielded my wife's trembling form with my own, hunching down in the seat of our vehicles as we rolled hurriedly down the street. Despite the chaos erupting around us, the only thought that occupied my mind was to keep moving, to put as much distance as possible between us and the assailants. In the stroke of providence, an off duty police officer appeared on the scene, a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. Though he lacked the means to confront the armed aggressors, he diligently recorded the license plate number of the vehicle responsible for the attack. It was a small gesture of assistance, tinged with the palpable fear of excuse me, you guys, let me start over. It was a small gesture of assistance, tinged with the palpable fear of retribution, as the long rifles wielded by our assailants cast a shadow of intimidation. With a sense of urgency propelling us forward, we navigated the streets with a singular focus, our destination clear, the hospital. The journey seemed interminable, every passing moment fraught with uncertainty and fear for my wife's well being. Upon our arrival at the receiving hospital, a sense of relief washed over me as medical personnel sprang into action, tending to my wounded wife with practiced efficiency. The sight of her injury, a gunshot wound to the leg, sent a shiver down my spine. Yet, the absence of crimson blood was a perplexing sight, replaced instead by a strange, clear liquid tinged with hues of pink. It was a stark reminder of the surreal nature of our ordeal, a stark departure from the familiar crimson of human blood. As the medical staff tended to my wife's physical wounds, I found myself grappling with the emotional toll of the experience. In the quiet moments that followed, I turned to my wife, seeking solace and understanding in the wake of our brush with mortality. With trembling words, I posed the question that lingered heavy in the air. What had transpired to bring us to this moment of peril? As the shock of the attack began to wane, a torrent of questions flooded our minds, each more haunting than the last. Why had we been targeted? Was it a simple robbery gone awry or something far more sinister? A contract hit, perhaps, orchestrated with malicious intent. The uncertainty gnawed at us, leaving us grappling with answers in the aftermath of the harrowing ordeal. As we retrace the events leading up to the shooting, doubts and suspicions loomed large. Had I unknowingly crossed paths with someone from my past, igniting a vendetta that had culminated in violence? The weight of such conjecture hung heavy in the air, casting a pall over our once peaceful existence. Yet, amidst the turmoil of unanswered questions, life marched on. Our burgeoning wealth seemed to eclipse all else as my company flourished, driving competitors out of business and securing lucrative city contracts with alarming efficiency. The three-way kill process, a breakthrough in pest control, became a citywide phenomenon, propelling our company to new heights of success. Blinded by ambition and driven by the purpose of prosperity, I failed to recognize the collateral damage left in our wake. The very growth that fueled our ascent inadvertently deprived others of their livelihoods, siphoning food from their children's mouths. The magnitude of our impact began to dawn on us, a sobering realization that our success came at a cost, one we had never intended to bear. As our company garnered attention and accolades, we found ourselves thrust into the spotlight, featured on television, and hailed as entrepreneurial trailblazers. Yet, behind the veneer of success lurked a darker truth. Our prosperity had come at the expense of others' well being, unwittingly sowing the seeds of animosity and resentment. Unbeknownst to us, our actions had provoked ire and resentment among those we had unwittingly displaced and disadvantaged. Checks from the government, once a symbol of triumph, now served as a stark reminder of the enemies we had unwittingly made in our quest for success. As the threats against our lives persisted, it became increasingly clear that we were no longer safe in our own city. The relentless pursuit of our ass- the excuse me, the relentless pursuit of our assailants left us on edge, constantly looking over our shoulders, never knowing when danger would strike next. In the face of such imminent peril, My priorities underwent a seismic shift. No longer did the allure of city contracts or financial gain hold any sway. The safety and well-being of my family became paramount, eclipsing all other concerns. Driven by a primal instinct to protect those I loved, I resolved to extricate us from the perilous situation we found ourselves in. It was a decision born out of desperation, fueled by the urgent need to safeguard my family from the ever present threat of violence. Recalling a long held desire to show my wife the world beyond our borders, I saw an opportunity amidst the chaos, a chance to flee the danger that loomed over us like a dark cloud. Though once hesitant to embark on such a journey, the shock and fear induced by our circumstances now spurred her to action, erasing any lingering doubts or reservations. With a sense of urgency gripping us, we made preparations to leave the city, seeking refuge in the familiarity of her mother's home in the projects. There we there we awaited the arrival of a crucial paycheck, the last vestige of our former life, before we embarked on our journey to safety. As we counted down the days until our departure, I assumed the role of protector, a sentinel armed with with nothing but a rifle and unwavering determination. Positioned by the window, I remained vigilant, ready to confront any threat that dared to encroach upon our sanctuary. The tension in the air was palpable as two mysterious figures, clad in trench coats, despite the warmth of the day, approached our doorstep. Instincts, honed by years of military training, kicked into high gear, my mind a wellspring of calculated readiness. At that moment, there was no room for hesitation or doubt, only the primal instinct to defend my family at any cost. With, I don't think he meant it like with I'm just going to read it like it says. With steely resolve, I braced myself for the inevitable confrontation, knowing full well that the lives of those that dared to threaten us hung in the balance. In that fleeting instance, fear gave way to a chilling sense of calm as I prepared to confront our would be assailants with unwavering resolve. Prepared to defend my family at all costs, I positioned myself strategically, my vantage point offering a clear line of sight to the impending threat. With unwavering resolve, I steeled myself for the confrontation that seemed inevitable, knowing that the lives of those who dared to threaten us hung in the balance. As I braced to pull the trigger, my finger poised on the trigger. Let me read that again, Joe. As I braced to pull the trigger, my finger poised on the trigger, a sudden interruption shattered the tense silence. The arrival of the project security team, seemingly summoned by divine intervention, disrupted the assailants' sinister plans. Startled by the y'all, let me read that again. Okay. As I braced to pull the trigger, my finger poised on the trigger, a sudden interruption shattered the tense silence. The arrival of the project security team, seemingly summoned by divine intervention, disrupted the assailants' sinister plans. Startled by the unexpected arrival of security, the would be attackers hastily retreated, fleeing the scene in a desperate bid to escape apprehension. Witnessing the swift intervention of security, a wave of relief washed over us, the gravity of the situation weighing heavy on our hearts. It was a stark reminder the precarious of the precariousness of our circumstances and the imminent danger that lurked in the shadows. With the threat temporarily averted, we knew that our window of opportunity for escape was rapidly closing. The next morning, as if by fate, the awaited paycheck arrived, signaling our cue to depart. Without hesitation, we hastily packed our belongings and embarked on our journey to safety, California beckoning as a distant beacon of hope. Despite our careful preparations, the journey proved fraught with peril. The closer we drew to our destination, the more acutely aware we became of the ominous specter of pursuit. Armed and, armed but outnumbered, we navigated the treacherous terrain with a mounting sense of unease. Every shadow seemingly a harbor let me read that again. The closer we drew to our destination, the more acutely aware we became of the ominous specter of pursuit. Armed but outnumbered, we navigated the treacherous terrain with a mounting sense of unease, every shadow seeming to harbor unseen dangers. Arriving in California, we found ourselves ensnared in a web of surveillance, our every move monitored by unseen eyes. Exhausted and beleaguered. Is that how you said it? Exhausted and beleaguered, we were forced to abandon our plans, our family's safety taking precedence over any material possessions. Faced with the harsh reality of our predicament, we made the difficult decision to redirect our journey, setting our sights on the distant sanctuary of Georgia. With each passing mile, the weight of our circumstances bore down on us. Our exhaustion was tempered only by the relentless determination to keep moving forward. In the darkness of night, as we sought refuge in transient lodgings, the safety of our children became our utmost priority. With vigilant eyes and weary hearts, we took turns standing guard. Our restless vigil with a testament of excuse me. Our restless vigil was a testament to the lengths we would go through to protect those we held dear. Let me read that one more time, y'all. With vigilant eyes and weary hearts, we took turns standing guard. Our restless vigil was a testament to the lengths we would go through to protect those we held dear. Armed and vigilant, we pressed on, our resolve unyielding in the face of adversity. As I recall, my mind began to brainstorm, and immediately I started thinking, how could I turn 6 liabilities into 6 assets? How do I turn a housewife into a killing machine? How do I develop 5 kids to How do I develop 5 kids to whereas they can defend themselves? How do I transition my kids' minds? Hold on. How do I transition my kids' mind to a point where they are looking? Hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go. This part got me a little disturbed. As I recall, my mind began to brainstorm, and immediately I started thinking, how can I turn 6 liabilities into 6 assets? How do I turn a housewife into a killing machine? How do I develop 5 kids to whereas they can defend themselves? How do I transition my kids' mind to a point where they are locking the doors behind themselves, looking back and watching over themselves, whereas I do not have to? My method of operation was to join the police department myself. What? Hold on, y'all. This ain't making sense right now. Hold on. My method of operation was to join the police department myself. I thought about my wife joining the police department also, so we could conduct a strict investigation to discover the motive of what happened to us. We needed to know who was behind the contract hit. After my wife and I put in applications for the police department, she was hired, but I was not. She was accepted, but I was not because of my background of drug use. After that, I tried to go back into the military. Due to my age, I could not re enlist because my time had elapsed. My wife needed to re enlist. However, it was very difficult to convince her into going back into the military. But after the different attempts on our lives, she knew that there was no other option. She then re enlisted in the military, and that was the strategy I used to change the trajectory of our lives. I began to teach my wife karate. I taught my children karate, from the oldest to the youngest. I taught them how to defend themselves. I even walked with my wife to build up her endurance. I would get up every morning before she went to military and build up our endurance just in case we had to fight. We never knew what was going to happen day to day until an attempt was made on our lives. Therefore, we were preparing ourselves for battle. My wife became an expert in rifles. Well, even in this day, she is still an expert in using her weaponry. She is able to use a pistol because of our ability to handle guns. I taught her how to quick draw. We're able to draw our weapons lightning fast. This is how I built my army and taught my family how to defend themselves. Unfortunately, I never thought of how the attempts on our lives, hiding in hotels, and moving from one place to another would affect my family mentally. I was focused on protecting them and teaching them how to defend themselves until I did not realize over and over this became trauma. Over the course of time, it began to wear and tear on us in every aspect: psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The PTSD began to wear on us traumatically. Sadly, even though God brought us out of what appears to be an unscathed reality, in actuality, the wounds were buried deep with excuse me, hold on, y'all. In actuality, the wounds were buried deep with our the corridors of our hearts. I think he meant within the corridors of our hearts. We did not escape this trauma unscathed because now we have to deal with the discipline of our lives. It has seriously affected our family relationships in a negative manner to this very day. For some of my family, the wounds of trauma have distorted the vision and reality of the past. There is nothing I can do about the past, regardless of our feelings. In spite of the methods of defense, I took my family to a safe place overseas with no income. I worked washing dishes, making sacrifices until I was hired to into a better paying government job. I kept working and sacrificing in a foreign country where we could not speak the language. I made sure they did not miss a meal. Even if I could not eat, they ate, and they were always clothed, even when I wore the same clothes. It was challenging, but I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to protect my family from our enemies. I suffered, endured, and made extreme sacrifices to protect my family. I pray that my family understands that in the midst of the perilous pursuit, my main objective back then was to keep us together and alive. Ooh, y'all, we just made it through chapter 6. We just made it through chapters. Ooh, chapter 6. I mean, chapter 6. Y'all, when we break this down, child, and I'm keeping myself, I'm purposely keeping myself from not saying anything. Y'all don't even know how I'm over here fighting for my life, okay? Trying not to say anything. Keeping all my commentary to myself, okay? Because that's not what we're here for. We just gonna read it. We're just reading it, okay? Y'all doing okay? Y'all hanging in there? Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. I feel like we need to take a break here at the 2 hour mark. We are at chapter 7, okay? At the beginning of chapter 7. And there are 11 chapters total. So I feel like this is probably a good stopping place. We're at page 47 of 84. Page 47 of 84. So this is probably a good stopping place. I need to go eat breakfast. I made breakfast like a couple hours ago, but I didn't eat yet. So I'm gonna go eat breakfast, and then I will be back, child, and we're gonna read chapter 7 through 11. Excuse me, chapter 7 through 11. We're just gonna go ahead and finish the book when I come back, okay? Ooh, child, we hanging in there though, but listen. Oh, y'all, I got so much I want to say. Oh, I got so much I want to say, but I'm holding my commentary until we, finish reading it, and then we'll go back and do a review. Okay, so I will be back. Let's say, I don't know. I think I want to come back at 11, y'all. It's 10:30 where I am now, so about 30 minutes. I'm just gonna go eat breakfast, and I want to come back. I want to get done with this. I don't want to I don't want this book to linger. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to get done with it. So we're gonna come back and read the remainder of the book, and yeah, and then we'll come up with a plan to dissect it and analyze it down to its lowest common denominator, child, line by line, honey. Okay. So I see y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. And then we will be back later on with the Hitman and the Preacher live reading. Okay. Love y'all. Bye bye for now.